Hello guys, Oscar Combs here with the ISO 9001 group, helping organizations improve their operations and reduce their risk. Hey, today I want to talk to you about a management system tip, the process interaction map. Now, the process interaction map is something that we should all be familiar with, and it's a central part of your organization's quality management system, but it's more than just a flow chart. It can be used for so many things in your organizations beyond just a flow chart. And so in today's tip, I want to walk through the process interaction map, kind of give you some examples on how it can be used, and also give you a good example of a process interaction map. So before we get into that, let me introduce myself. I'm Oscar Combs, a senior consultant at the ISO 9001 group. I have over 23 years of experience providing consulting, auditing, and training for organizations. Large organizations, mid-sized organizations, small organizations. I am also an exemplar certified lead auditor and a principal management consultant. All right, so now you know a little bit about me. Let's get into the process interaction map. All right, so ISO 9001 2015 in section 4.4 states this, that the organization shall establish, implement, maintain, and continually improve a quality management system, including the processes needed and their interactions in accordance with the requirements of this international standard, meaning ISO 9001. All right, so let's look at a couple of things here. It says that we need to implement, maintain, and continually improve a quality management system, including the processes needed and their interaction. So that's why we refer to this as a process interaction map. So let's talk about the process interaction map a bit. All right, so the first thing that we want to understand about the process interaction map is that it's a graphical depiction of your organization's processes, right? I mean, so if you think about it, it's really the most important design that you have in your company, because it's very strategic. It pretty much provides the foundation for all of the activities in your company. So maybe you think your product design is one of the most important designs in your organization. And I would challenge that and say that your process interaction map, the design of your processes, is indeed the most important design in your organization. So the process interaction map, you know, it gives the organization the ability to share the big picture with all employees. Now, that's one thing that I often hear, you know, management states that, you know, employees are not aware of the big picture. Well, share the big picture. So the process interaction map is a really good way to do that in a graphical way. It's another good way to get everybody in your organization on the same page. Now, you know how important that is, right? Getting everybody on the same page so that everybody understands that what they're doing is impacting what someone else is doing. One department is impacting another department. We're not working in silos, but we're working together. And so the process interaction map gives us a good way to really see the inputs and outputs of how one organization's or one department's work is an input or an output to another department's work that they're doing within the organization. So let's move on to number 2. The process interaction map also gives us the ability to diagnose problems. That's right. It gives us the ability to diagnose problems. So when we have problems in our organizations, as opposed to just having knee-jerk reactions, you know, the process interaction map gives us a good way to diagnose the problem. So, you know, if there are things going on in your organization and it's not flowing right, revisit the process interaction map. And if you don't have a process interaction map, you should create one. If it doesn't flow on paper, it won't flow when people are trying to do it. right? So that's the good thing about the process interaction map. It gives us the ability to identify or define what the roadmap is, define the structure, define the proper sequence of steps or proper sequence of processes within our organization. You know, many times problems stem from just simply poor process design. Maybe we have one process being done before another one, but maybe the other process should actually be done first, right, and provide an input to the other processes. So many times the problems that organizations have simply stem from poor process design, or maybe the organization hasn't even taken out the time to define their processes and don't really understand the process design and how the processes are actually interacting with each other. It also gives us the ability to get to the root cause of our problems. So maybe you know, your organization may have issues you know, with certain things, and we don't really understand why we're having those issues, and the process interaction map gives us the opportunity and the ability to really diagnose the problem and try to get to the root cause of the problem so that we can eliminate those nagging problems for good. Number 3 is that the process interaction map gives us the ability to change quickly and also to manage the risk involved in change. You know, every time I hear the word change, to me it's synonymous with the word risk, because every time something changes, it introduces risk, right? So, but organizations must change quickly. Organizations must change frequently, and so in order for us to do that, we need to understand the impact of our changes. And so going to our process interaction map gives us the ability to assess the impact of the changes versus just making changes and then the after effect being something negative. We can mitigate the risk of those negative impacts by really understanding the impacts of the changes before we make them. And you know, some may say, well, you know, the process interaction map stifles innovation, or you know, does not allow the company to change quickly. Well, the process interaction map actually does just the opposite. It provides the foundation for quick change. So if your company needs to be nimble and change very quickly, changes frequently, the process interaction map gives us the ability to do that both quickly, efficiently, and also the ability to assess our risk while we make a change. So what I would like to do now is to give you an example of a good process interaction map. So here's a process interaction map, right? We can see that it starts off with the initial process in your organization. So for this example, the first one is the request for quote process, right? And then it comes into this organization. The next department is entering the quote into the system and then preparing the quote, right? So you can see that when we get beyond preparing the quote is submitted to our lead, right? It's submitted to the lead. Now, maybe the quote is awarded. If it's yes, we continue on. If it's no, we follow up until we win the quote. Now, we may receive the order, and then we need to give it a job number, create a job file, enter the order, create a sales order, create a picking list. Maybe we need to purchase some things. So if that answer is yes, we come over here and go to the yes path, and we are going to get quotes from our vendors. We're going to do a material requisition. If it's approved, we're going to purchase it. But we can see we have a decision point in here where maybe we need to look at the requisition and determine if it's actually our need or not. All right, and if it's determined that it's yes, we're going to purchase that, submit the purchase order to the supplier. We're going to perform a receiving inspection to make sure we're actually receiving what we purchased. And if we have any issues, this is a nonconformity report, we're going to implement corrective action with the supplier. If we don't have any nonconformities or problems with the product or service that we're receiving, the product, of course, we're going to put it in inventory. All right, so once it's in inventory, then we come over here and do a work order. We can assemble our work packet. We can have a prefab meeting. We can perform scheduling. We can do our fabrication and assembly. Over here, once we're complete with production activities, we can come over here and we can do our, in the process of doing our production activities, now we can come over here and do our in-process inspections. If we have any nonconformities, we can implement corrective action. If we don't have any issues, we can move forward with final inspection. If we have issues with final inspection, we can implement corrective action. If we don't have any issues, we can move forward with packaging, QC inspection. Maybe we have another step of inspection here. And then if we don't have any issues here, we go into shipping and then customer satisfaction, right? So we can clearly see how the process interaction map gives us the ability, gives everyone the ability in the organization to really understand the proper flow of these processes, how they interact with each other, and how they are properly designed. Also, we can understand that if we make a change to a process, we can now understand how that change would be impacting other processes within the process design or the process interaction map for our organizations. And you can also see how it gives us the ability to kind of assess risk as we're making changes. All right, so let me jump back over into our main PowerPoint here. So hopefully you found this tip beneficial on the process interaction map and how you can use it within your organization to get everybody on the same page, to ensure that your processes are designed so that they are efficient, they are effective, and that everybody understands them, right? How they should flow. Make sure that they're flowing properly, and also use it beyond just a flow chart and use it to diagnose our problems, use it to help us mitigate risk, and also utilize it to help us manage change within our organization. I would also like to encourage you to like and follow us on your favorite social media. Hey, Oscar Combs here with the ISO 9001 Group, helping organizations improve operations and reduce your risk. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.